Hi, I'm David Watson. I'm going to be giving you a lecture on MLA Works Cited page. First of all, I'm going to give you some tips on formatting. You can follow along with these numbers. Number one, a lot of students mess this up. Centered at the top of your page, you should have the phrase Works Cited. And it should not be in italics, in quotation marks, bolded, or in any different font. It should be in the exact same font as the rest of your paper. Your works cited page should be alphabetized by the first word in the citation. Usually that will be an author's name. However, sometimes it will be the title of the publication in the event that you do not have an author. Oftentimes government documents run into this issue. On works cited pages, they sort of work the opposite of the rest of your paper. You will not indent the first line of your citation. However, you will indent each additional line. In general, you will need the following information. You'll need author, the editor or creator of the source, title of the source, the place of publication, the date of publication, and the medium of publication. Just like in the rest of your paper, your last name and page number should still be in the upper right-hand corner. Also, just like the rest of your paper, the works cited page is double-spaced. So basically, if you single-spaced your entire paper, highlighted the entire thing, and double-spaced it, you would be in correct MLA format. One recent change in MLA documentation is you are no longer required to list URL addresses. There is now a place to simply state print or web in your citation. Sometimes you may have a professor or instructor that wants the URL still, so that's something that could go either way, but it's no longer required. If an author has more than one entry on your works cited page, you will list his name, last name first for the first entry. The second entry will begin with 3 dashes, and the 3 dashes indicate that the following work is written by the same author as above. Remember, the initial author is always listed last name first. If you have more than one author, the second author will be listed first name first. In online sources, oftentimes there's information that's hard to find, or sometimes it's just not there. So in online sources, if you do not have a publisher and the place that information would usually go, you use the letters N.P. And obviously that stands for no publisher. Similarly, sometimes, often on websites, there are no page numbers. And if that occurs in the place where you would normally put the page number, you put N.PAG, which obviously stands for no pagination. Now I'm just going to go over some popular examples of kinds of sources you tend to use most often. The first is one author, and in this case you will have the author's last name, a comma, first name, period, title in italics, publication city, colon, publisher, comma, year of publication, period, and the medium. Sometimes the title used to be underlined. Now I think everyone is going with italics, so that's pretty standard. And if you look at the below example, there's a real example where the author's name is Anderson Curtis. The work is The Long Tail, Why the Future of Business is Selling Less of More. And it was published in New York by Hyperion in 2006, and it is in print, which means it's a book. Next, a work in an anthology. So if you are taking a work out of a big literature book or something like that for an English 113 class, you would have the author's last name, the title of the work, which will go in quotation marks, then the title of the anthology will be in italics, the editor's name first, last name last, the publication city, the publisher, a comma, year of publication, period, pages, period, and then the medium. And you can see the actual example from Cited. Moving on. If you have no author or editor, and often this happens if you are using government sites, you simply start with the title, a period, the publication city, colon, publisher, a comma, year of publication, and then the medium. I've also given an example of if you're citing sacred texts, since oftentimes people don't know who to put for the author. And again, you can see the example. moving on to online sources, which will obviously be incorporated more and more. The first one is an entire website, and you can see the example. It's the author's last name, comma, first name. The title of the site is in italics. Then the publisher or sponsoring institution, the date posted or last updated, then the medium, and then the day you accessed the site. Again, oftentimes you might have trouble finding a date. That occurs a good little bit. Then maybe one of the most common resources you will use, especially at a college, is an article accessed through a database. This entry has a lot of parts. You can see author's last name, comma, first name. The title of the article will go in quotation marks. The title of the periodical will go in italics. The date or volume. Then you have the issue number, the year, the pages. The database will go in italics. The medium, the day, month, and year that you accessed it, and then you can see the actual example. Again, that has more parts than the rest of the examples. Sometimes it might be hard to figure out what is the database, and you can see it's usually located on the screen in like the upper left-hand corner. And finally, the last example that I picked that I thought would come in handy would be an article in an online newspaper. And again, you can see its author's last name, comma, first name. The title of the article is in quotation marks, and the title of the newspaper is in italics. Then you have publisher, then the day, month, and year of access. And then you can see the actual example. One of the most helpful resources you can have is an MLA handbook for this. Then you simply have to look up the kind of source you have and follow the model. Or oftentimes if you're in an English 111 class, in fact always if you're in an English 111 class, the textbook will have a section that won't be as exhaustive as the MLA handbook, but will still be quite helpful and informative. So I hope this helps. Thanks.